Howdy, everybody in YouTube land. What we have in front of us today is yet another SE30. I tell you, when it rains, it pours. So, this one was picked up at VCF East 2024. Now, this was not bought at the show. This was given to me by a friend of mine. It's unknown condition. I think it was a repair was attempted on it, and it just doesn't work. I'm not sure. So, when it rains, it pours, right? So we have yet another SE30. Now, this one here is cosmetically kind of rough. I mean, we've got, dirt, we've got sticker residue. I mean, not all that uncommon for the time. We got some stuff that needs some magic eraser treatment. We got some, like, rub marks in the front. The CRT looks definitely baked. I don't know what software it was running originally, but you can kind of see it with the burning really bad. But it looks like it was running at least System 7 because you can see the clock burned in. So we have a minimum of that. But anyway, so no frills, nothing special, no rare accelerators or anything like that. That's not really a thing with this one. This is just your run-of-the-mill SC30 as far as I understand. Anyway, so I guess at this point it looks like it still has its drives, or at least the floppy drive anyway. So I guess at this point we need to take it apart and see what we can see. But man, this is sticky stuff. I don't know what was up here. Maybe this was one of those little paper stand things, because I know for a time back in the day you could buy little clips that holds papers or something you're working on, and you needed, so maybe that's what this was. Not sure, but regardless, it's all going to have to come off. We're going to have to clean this case, retro bright it, but alright, so let's get this apart and see what we got going on inside. Here's the big reveal. Now, this thing is very high hour. You can see the black soot build up on the tube. So this thing has seen some serious use, or it was used in a high dust, high dirt environment. But high voltage tends to attract dirt, so that's not all that unsurprising. Anyways, it looks like we've got a rainbow SCSI cable. That's not original. And we have a 250 megabyte quantum hard drive, which is also probably not original. So this thing has seen some upgrades over the years. As far as everything else, I'm not certain yet. I gotta see what we have going on with the circuitry. Now, this kind of stuff you have to be careful with, because the last thing you want to do is pop the tube. Because if you pop the tube, there's no going back. Now, if the tube is dead anyways, it doesn't really matter, right? But just got to be super careful. I'm not even attempting to power this up. I just wanted to get apart and see what we have going on. That's also not stock. No, this thing is... There's definitely some oddities in here. So, yeah, you see how easy it is. If you pull on this, you can push this neck and break things. So, what I like to do is get into a spot where I can safely just kind of do that. The problem is the hard drive is in the way. So, let's see. Is that actually is already cracked loose? Yeah, there we go. Now, let's see. Well, wow. This thing needs some serious work. Okay. Well, we have original capacitors, so we have that going for us. Looks like what we have is pipe flux in the board. Yeah, so all of this is going to have to come off and get replaced, but not a big deal. I need to figure out how we're going to fix some of this, because that right there is not a good spot. 166 looks to be in okay shape. That doesn't necessarily mean it's any good, but looks like it was removed. Anyways, there's some dodginess going on there. I'm probably going to have to rip all of that apart, and I'm going to have to pull all the caps off, of course. Looks like we have a full complement of RAM, and we have the original ROM sim. So it's not in that bad a shape. It's just we've definitely got some shenanigans going on. That's definitely pipe flux. Smells like it. So, yeah, we're gonna have to scrub this thing down with acetone. But before we do, we got to get all these old caps off because they're no good. At least we know what's going on with the logic board. Now, as far as the rest of it is concerned, that floppy drive may or may not be original. I don't recall this plastic cover being on it. So I think someone's just put a different drive in here at one time. In fact, that might be an 800K drive. I could be wrong. We've got some shenanigans going on, so you know what? Let's take this thing apart. Actually, I'm trying to think. What should I do? You know what I should do first? I should work on this first and see what condition our board is in before diving into the rest in this. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to pull all the caps off, clean this up, and see what we got going on here. Alright, so I got all the chips removed that I can remove. These two pals are just completely gooey where the flux is absorbed inside the sockets, so all that's going to have to get removed. I'm waiting for the desoldering iron to warm up. I'm taking a closer look at this. It looks like those two chips were removed and replaced with other ones. I'm not 100% certain what's going on there, but it's a solid attempt to repair it, but it's in vain if you don't change the caps, because I mean, you know. But more importantly, I took a closer look on the back side, and look right here. Those two vias are shorted together with a solder blob. That's really easy to do if you're not careful, so that's not going to work, and that's these two joints right there next to that capacitor lead, which goes into the ASC, so that's probably shorting the data bus. So there's no way it's going to work that way. So anyways, let's get this mess cleaned up. Yeah, this thing is absolutely gross. I mean, yeah, that's just totally saturated in flux. Like I've said in previous videos, a little goes a long way. You don't need 10,000 square pounds of flux when you're doing these boards. You just don't. What makes this even worse? I mean, missing pads is one thing. Hell, I do that all the time. But what makes this worse is look how warped this board is right here. Someone concentrated a lot, and I mean a lot of heat right here to remove these chips, and it's kind of destroyed the board. So we're going to have to like do a lot of patches. But before I do, I just want to get this board washed. And I don't know if this flux is going to come off or not. It's very sticky, and acetone's not even getting it off. So I'm just going to go wash this board real quick and then let it dry, and hopefully we get all this crap cleaned up and we can get somewhere with this thing. It's flux has even got up inside these ICs as well. It's not good. I got to do the same thing here and clean those chips too. Oh, what a nightmare. Well, the main board is washing and drying. I figured I would move the project along by looking at this stuff. So one thing I noticed right away is this wiring harness. Look how badly corroded it is. I'm kind of concerned with that. It hasn't wicked itself all the way up, but it does kind of look concerning. So honestly, I don't know how well this is going to work. I don't know how to fix this either. So I don't know if I have any spares. There's a lot of I don't knows in that statement, but that's just it. I don't know. So perhaps I should remove the drive stack and see what we're dealing with here, because there's some definite like plastic shielding stuff in here that was not part of the original SE30 that I remember. So I figure I might as well just go ahead and do the usual, like get this all torn apart, get it cleaned up, get all the dirt off of it, you know, the general stuff like that. So service the floppy drive and all that. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get the drive stack out. Here's a little treat for y'all. Someone soldered the LED straight to the drive board. So, or drive LED, ugh. That's definitely not original, that's for sure. Yeah, the floppy drive's definitely not original to this machine either, because it's got this little plastic sleeve on it, which I only saw in the LCs and Quadras and the 2 series, like the 2CI or whatever, but not an SE or an SE30. That's a new one for me. And you can tell some shenanigans have been going on here. Plus, I think the serial number puts this in 92. So that would have been later than this machine does. So this floppy drive is a replacement. It was probably replaced the same time that one was. Not sure why. This machine has definitely had a lot of work done to it. But anyway, so moving right along, I want to get this picture tube out. And I want to get all this dirt and crap cleaned off of it. It's not like it matters. But the thing you got to pay attention to when it comes to high voltage like this is it attracts dirt, right? The thing is, it also absorbs moisture. When it absorbs moisture, it can cause arcing. So I want to clean all of this up to make sure there's no path to ground to prevent it from arcing, basically. So it's just something I do. You don't have to do it. It's probably not super important on a black and white tube anyways. But I'm just going to do it because why not? I'm already this far, so... And I need to get the analog board out anyway so I can check the solder joints. Oh yeah, so the analog board is definitely all original. It has not had any service, so... I mean, look at this. Look how badly broken those solder joints are. So you have to resolder these. I know I've said this many times in many videos, but this is why. You can just see how broken they are, so... all of these, usually it's the connectors that need attention, especially the yoke connection up here. I mean, look at that one. This is why they turned brown and developed that burn spot. This is why they do that. Sometimes the flyback themselves need soldered, although this one doesn't look too bad. I'm going to resolder it anyway because you can see it's just starting to crack right there. And yeah, that's it. So every single one of these needs attention. So that's what we have to do, is we have to get all of this out, get it resoldered, and then move on. But I want to test the picture tube and all that anyway, so I'm just going to remove everything. You know, judging by how this dirt looks, especially here and all of that, also it's giving the aroma of tar. So you know what? This is cigarette tar, cigarette spooge. So much for being a non-smoker home. But anyways, you know what's next? We gotta test the picture tube. Figure out what's going on with it. Alright, so set filament on 12.6 volts. No shorts. Gun balance. We'll move that to low bias. God, this thing's baked. So, yeah. I mean, it's okay, but it's not good. So, oh wow, yeah, that's bad. It'll produce an okay picture, but it's gonna be dim. I mean, it tracks with how burnt in the CRT is. It's baked. So you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna let this thing run a little hotter for a minute and see if it clears up, and then we're gonna back it back down. No. Set you there. Gun balance is proper. Nothing. So we'll set the bias to normal. We'll bring, yeah, normal bias, I can't even bring it up. So That CRT is toast. And normally it would check about around 13 or 14 in this little spot down here. So it's weak. So here's what we're going to do. There we go. We just zapped it. Which killed my cutoff, but I got emissions now. Yeah, I need a new tube. So that tube is wasted. But we'll see. We'll see where we get with it. I'm not expecting much, that's for sure. Yeah, that came off the CRT. All of that cigarette spooge. It's nasty. Alright, time to clean the front faceplate too because it's gross. You can see all the staining in there. There's some staining in there. I'd like to actually retro bright this one, but the problem is we're a little bit too late in the season now, so I don't think vapor brighting is going to work. But it definitely needs the Series Gators to retro bright. There's the original color, and that's what it looks like. But then again, I might leave that for the next person. I don't know yet, because my intention is to not keep this machine. Just like the last ones, it's probably going to go away. So I'm just going to fix it up as much as I can and then kick it on down the road. Not perfect, but better. It's cleaner than what it was before. Even got the back side a bit too, and all that gunge is gone. So I can start reassembling that. Meanwhile, I need to go check on the motherboard. Much, much better. The board's done being washed and dried. And that is just so much cleaner. All that screwball flux is gone. I'm happy. So now it's a matter of replacing that chip and patching it up, which shouldn't be too bad, honestly. Much better. I have 2 new chips installed in there, and I got the patch wire ran because it needed it. You can't really see it, but I got 2 more patch wires where the pads are missing. They're under the chip, so you can't see it. Got new sockets in there. I just got to get all the flux cleaned off of this and then get them reinstalled because I think... and then get caps in it. I think we have a real shot of working here, especially after finding that solder blob. So, much better. We are now reassembled. So, hopefully, that should solve our problem. So, now we have new capacitors installed. We have the sockets replaced for that because they were soaked in flux. So, there's just no way it was going to work. I got the patch wires there. New chips are installed. So, in theory, as long as there's no other damage to this board, it should run. Oh, man. That ROM does not want to go in there. Yeah, these ROM sockets tend to go bad sometimes too, and they're expensive and hard to find. Anyways, I noticed this RAM, the board's delaminating. It's actually really bad. And it's Micron RAM too, so it'll be interesting if this stuff works. We shall find out. Also, the RAM wasn't... See how this one's pretty bad too. The RAM wasn't installed in the correct pairs either, so... I mean, that won't matter a whole lot if the RAM's all the same size anyways, but... Oh yeah, that's bad. I've never seen a circuit board delaminate like that. That's yet another thing to worry about with age. Circuit board delamination. I thought I started seeing this on my IBM Model 30. So yeah, not good. Actually, you know what? I think we'll just start with that for now and see what we get. Alright, so that concludes the board. So now I need to get the rest of it back together. But before we can, remember, we need to resolder all of these connections on this analog board. So let's go ahead and take care of that now while I have it apart before I start putting it back together. Alright, here goes nothing. Looks like I got a CRT filament. Huh. Well. It's working, although there's this weird flickering issue. I don't like that. See if I can get it on camera. Yeah, you can see that. Don't like that at all. Oh, yeah. I think the volume potential or the brightness control is bad. Yeah, look at that. Brightness control is doing nothing. Nothing at all. Alright, well, on one hand we have a working board, but on the other hand we have a bad friggin' brightness. Not that's weird. I gotta figure that out. Right, yeah, the CRT is shot because if I adjust the focus control, look what happens to the raster. But if I adjust the G2 control, same thing. So we have a bad, yep, we got a shorted CRT. There's a short in the electron gun. Well, that's great. So I need a replacement picture tube. That one's done. Alright, so, because this thing's junk anyways, why don't we, well, my cutoff is coming up better. Why don't we just remove the shorts? See if that helped. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say. But the important thing is it's junk. I'm gonna have to source another tube. But I tried to hit it with remove shorts and see if that solves my problem. I doubt it, but we'll see. So let's try this again. See if I get the same problem. Hopefully I don't. Got the brightness turned all the way up and it's still very dim. I mean, this thing's been dim. So we got it now, and then let's adjust the G2. The G2's maxed out. Oh yeah, this thing's dead. Well, now I can focus it again. That's good. Yeah. And the focus is maxed out to one extreme too. I mean, it's usable. It probably won't last, but it's definitely usable. That fixed it. I had to remove shorts. Well, all that means is this CRT is on its last legs. It really is. We've got to source another one. But, I mean, judging how black everything looked, it had a lot of hours on it anyways. But hey, you know what? At least it's usable. So I think, at least until I can source another CRT, I'm just going to leave it for now. Because I don't have another one. But we can continue on. Like, we need to service the floppy drive, and we need to work on the hard drive to see if it's any good. I don't know. And plus, we need to boot the system to see if everything else is good, because we don't know if the SCSI is good. In fact, let's see. I don't think the SCSI is any good, but I don't know. I don't think there's any image on that blue SCSI. Oh, yeah, there is. SCSI works. Alright, well, at least we're good there. Oops, I started up my Macintosh TV when... Oh, anyways, so... Okay, yeah, it's booting a system, so that's good. In fact, I need this for the show coming up. Anyways, so it is booting a system off the SCSI, so SCSI's good. We just got to check the disk drive setup, and it's probably fine if I were going to hazard a guess. But really, we're just going to need a picture tube and some retro bright. That's it. So let's move on to the disk drive and the hard drive. Oh yeah, this thing's definitely nasty with all the dust and stuff. So we're definitely going to have to blow this thing out and service this drive and do the maintenance and all that stuff, which I've shown several times. So we're just going to go ahead and skip ahead here. Alright, so once again, we're going to go for broke. Floppy drive is serviced and it's all put back together. Just like the last one. Am I going to have to tear it apart? I don't know. I also noticed that thing's starting to turn to powder. Weird. Alright. Lido boot disk. I don't know how much RAM is in here, but we'll see. It's very flickering the picture. I need to turn that down a bit so it's not as pronounced in the camera. Alright, here we go. As if I had any doubts. Ha! It's working, at least. But yeah, I can tell that CRT is just baked because you can see it faded here and here, but in the picture here it's much brighter. So, alright, it is working. Now, how much RAM does this machine have? 8 megs. Okay. So, those are all 1 meg sticks. Here we go. I've noticed those modern eject gears are much louder than the original. I don't know if it's just because of the type of plastic they used or what, but we're good. Alright, so floppy drive works, sound works, of course. Everything is working on this machine, like right off the bat. The only trouble I had was the CRT itself, which still needs replaced, but I have a thought for that. Now, a friend of mine, CJ, has got a bunch of these picture tubes left over. I'm not sure where from, but he's going to give me a couple of them, so I might be able to get something for that. But I also have an IBM 5155 spare picture tube. I could put an amber display in here, but I don't like the color of the amber so much. It's hard on my eyes. Green would be better, but I don't have any green ones. Anyways, okay, so what next? Oh yeah, the hard drive. So let's get the hard drive. I'm not going to put the hard drive in here just yet because I don't know if it's any good. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of hook it up to the side and see what happens. All right, let's see now. Well, it initialized. Does it have an OS on it? It does. The bearing on that thing has seen better days. But that is so common when they don't get used. That's like the worst thing in the world is for mechanical stuff to sit because it's just horrible. It's like people that have classic cars. The worst thing you can do to a car is let it sit. That's why. Bearings. Ooh, it is working. You know what? I think that's the same thing I saw burned in on it. Let's see. Zip drive. Nice. Not registered. Whatever that is. Oh, yes. It's all good. Okay. I'm not going to go exploring through the hard drive because there could be personally identifiable information on it. But, okay. So we're good. I think this software is dongled because it won't actually open. It keeps saying use not authorized and then hangs right there. So this might need a specialized dongle, but well, we could see who used to own it. That's kind of cool. Meow. There's actually a library of like random. I don't know if you call this clip art because it's Quark Express, but like it's definitely an interesting. I don't know. What is that? Eventually, it's gonna run out of memory, I think, but we'll see. It's just random clip art type stuff. Currently backing up the hard drive because of the cool software that's installed on it and the originality of the machine coming from that Boston Tribune newspaper. I've already scrubbed the personally identifiable information, so that's all done, but we're backing that up just to have it, and then but I'm using the compression method, so it's going to take a long time. Hopefully it makes it through the backup process because I'm slowly starting to hear signs of that hard drive dying. It sounds fine now, but you can hear bearing noise coming and going. The fact that this now 30-year-old hard drive is even running at all is impressive, to be honest. Almost done. Getting there. Can we save it? Maybe? I'm just really glad that projects like Blue Scuzzy exist because it makes all of this possible. See, I've started it up on my Mac TV image. For some reason, works on the SE30. I didn't figure it would, but it's entirely possible I installed a Universal System 7. I don't remember. But, yeah. Oh, this thing is really starting to fade fast now, by the way. So I think it's as bright as it goes. Yeah. That's it. Alright, it looks like the backup completed, so I'm going to go ahead and run a full diagnostic on that hard drive. So I'm going to search for bad blocks and all that stuff. If everything's good there, then we're just going to do a quick low-level format and a basic system install, and then that'll be it for that hard drive. Now we're just going to FTP that guy over through the Blue Scuzzy Wi-Fi that's in the rear back here. I love the Blue Scuzzy Wi-Fi. And there we go. That's it for that one. So this guy is up and running again. It's not a restoration, it's more of an overhaul because I still have the case issues to deal with. I still have to get a new picture tube. But right now it's functional, and I'm going to move on to the next one because I've got more, and many more to do and do videos on. There's a pile of them. Some of these I've already done videos on, and then some of them I have not. So I've got more to go down the line. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and all of that fun stuff. If you have a comment, please feel free to leave one. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching.